The clock was ticking toward 5:30 a.m., and the Middle East was bracing for impact. Driven by threats that an entire civilization was about to be erased, neighboring nations scrambled. Kuwait ordered an immediate overnight curfew. The world held its breath, waiting for the first strike. Up in the sky, military escalation was visible. B-2 stealth bombers were spotted in the air, a clear signal a massive American attack was imminent. On the ground, the Iranian response was immediate and extreme. Millions poured into the streets, actively forming human chains over bridges and around massive cooling towers. They were daring the American military to fire on civilians. But 5:15 a.m. arrived, and the bombs never dropped. Instead, all parties suddenly announced a 14-day ceasefire. Global markets exhaled. Headlines praised a historic de-escalation. But beneath this official narrative of sudden peace lies a carefully constructed, highly manipulated diplomatic illusion. The American PR machine immediately went to work. The administration claimed they forced Iran's hand and successfully secured the reopening of the Strait of Hormuz. To make this look like a legitimate mutual agreement, Pakistan's Prime Minister Shehbaz Sharif stepped up, posting online and publicly claiming credit for brokering the truce between the two superpowers. But Sharif made an operational error. When he hit send on his official social media post, he accidentally left the instructions at the very top. It read, "Draft Pakistan PM message on X." He had copy-pasted a script. The American government was actively operating Pakistan's diplomatic communications to simulate a third-party negotiation. The U.S. was playing both sides of the chessboard. By using Pakistan as a puppet mediator, the administration gave themselves a way to back down from a war they couldn't control, all while trying to maintain the appearance of strength. To understand the actual balance of power in this standoff, we must look at the paperwork. Iran submitted a strict 10-point ceasefire proposal, and the United States accepted it. Inside Iran, there is no confusion about what this document means. The streets are filled with people celebrating, not a mutual compromise, but major American concessions. The terms are heavily skewed. The U.S. agreed to halt all attacks, lift primary and secondary economic sanctions, pay compensation for damages, and officially leave regional control of the Strait of Hormuz in Iran's hands. One specific concession stands out. The United States implicitly agreed to let Iran continue uranium enrichment, promising not to interfere with the very facilities they were threatening to bomb hours earlier. In international diplomacy, the side that dictates the operational terms of a ceasefire holds the leverage. By signing on to a document where every point originated in Tehran, the U.S. has signaled its willingness to trade its strategic goals for a temporary exit from the conflict. How did Iran force these terms? Pakistan's clumsy copy-paste job was merely a distraction. The real architect of this deal was operating quietly behind the curtain. It was China. When the United States realized it had lost its military leverage, Chinese diplomats stepped in to manage the negotiations. China's strategy was simple. They convinced Iran to accept a temporary 2-week pause, in exchange for locking in a permanent, highly visible diplomatic retreat for the United States. Cornered by the reality of a multi-front war, America was forced to accept a rescue deal brokered by its largest global rival, just to avoid a Middle Eastern quagmire. The scramble for a Chinese-mediated solution highlights a shifting reality in the Middle East, one where regional powers are increasingly looking towards Beijing to resolve crises that Washington's military presence can no longer contain. Agreements are only as strong as the people enforcing them, and this ceasefire is built on 3 highly unstable foundations. Crack number 1 is Lebanon. Point 10 requires an end to hostilities in Lebanese territory. Israel has already publicly refused to honor this, continuing their operations. Crack number 2 is a translation error. Iran wrote their demands in Persian. When translated to English, the text regarding uranium enrichment was ambiguous. The U.S. currently believes they will control the uranium, while Iran believes they have a green light to enrich it. Crack number 3 is the fragile ego of the American administration. Once the full details of the agreement reach the domestic public, and the administration realizes they are being mocked globally for bowing to Iranian terms, their willingness to honor the deal will evaporate. These 14 days offer a tactical pause rather than a diplomatic resolution. It's a window for both sides to resupply front lines and brace for a conflict the agreement has delayed but not settled.